What if I told you that you're actually asleep, dreaming about everything around you? Strange, isn't it? We look at things, touch things, and feel things and believe they are real. But how do we know they are real? We're not sleeping and just dreaming about everything. The famous philosopher René Descartes posed this very question in his Meditations. He argued that there's no way to be certain that we're not dreaming. Our senses can deceive us, and dreams can feel incredibly real. So, how do we know if what we're experiencing is reality or just a vivid dream? Descartes wasn't the first to ask this question. Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi had a similar thought, and Plato and Aristotle also explored this idea in their works. So if you've been asking yourself this very same question, you're not crazy, and you're certainly not alone. So I have a habit of taking a quick nap in the afternoon just for like 20 or 30 minutes. And you know what? After a few minutes of snoozing, I start dreaming. And in those dreams, an entire story plays itself out that feels like an hour, even a day's worth of events. Now, you may not doze off as often as I do, but you've probably had the same experience of time in your dreams. The crazy thing is that in reference to the real world, most dreams typically last anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. That's not what you felt, is it? It feels like so much more is happening in that short amount of time. So the question remains, are we in a dream world right now, where our time compared to another frame is 1 second? A dream from which we may one day wake up? How can we know for sure that we're not currently living in a dream? One way philosophers have tried to tackle these issues is by pointing out the difference between the dream world and the waking world. For example, our waking world has a consistency that the dream world often lacks. You might remember that in the movie Inception, characters figure out they're dreaming by asking themselves how they ended up in a certain situation, then realizing they can't remember because the dream just placed them there. But does the consistency of our waking world guarantee that it's real? The consistency of our waking world provides evidence that it is not just something we imagine. When we are awake, the things we see and experience are real because they stay the same over time. This means that there is something real causing our experiences when we are awake. However, you can't always trust that the things and places we see in the real world are the most real. They might seem permanent, but think about it, video game worlds also seem permanent, yet they're just made up by computer code. Could our waking life be similar to a deeper form of a dream? Could it be that one day we'll wake up from our current reality and experience a world that's even more real and coherent? Like waking up from a dream to a state where we have much better knowledge, memory, and cognitive function than we do now. In fact, a rather startling number of people report having already had experiences like this. They say they've had experiences that seem even more real than those in their normal waking state. People who have had near-death experiences or used psychedelic drugs like DMT often describe their experiences as more real than real. They also experience improved thinking and suddenly know a lot more than before. Some people think that when you feel like your brain is working better and you know more, it's just in your head. But research shows that people in near-death situations have learned real, provable facts that they couldn't have known through their senses. The experiences of those who have tried different states of consciousness make us wonder if life is but a dream is more than just a question for philosophers. This could have big effects on what our minds can experience. It's something to keep in mind as we try to understand the world we live in. We may just be living in our own dream. We may never know. And if you think you're a big deal and have a massive ego, you definitely need to watch my previous video. I'll show you why you're not as important as you think. Trust me, it's eye-opening. See you there, folks.